You want healthy, glowing skin, but with all the products, trends, and conflicting advice, it's hard to know what actually works. I understand. I am Dr. Tina Meder, a former cardiologist and specialist in the skincare development and cosmetic safety expert. I've spent years studying the science of skin. Welcome to Meder Beauty podcast, where we uncover what really matters, break down the science, and give you real expert-backed skincare advice. Whether you're looking to achieve radiant, healthy skin, curious about anti-aging, or want to understand what's really in your product, you are in the right place. Rooted in science and the truth about what your skin actually needs, we'll have in-depth conversations with leading dermatologists, medical experts, and skincare brand founders to bring you the latest innovations, evidence-based insights, and industry secrets that truly make a difference. We are so happy you are here. So let's go. Let's discuss about menopause today. Menopause sounds negatively. We have these stereotypes about menopause in the society. But I think it is a good time to change our perception of the menopause. It is a big period in women's life. Because yes, in the past, when the average lifetime was about 30, 35 years, especially for women, because a lot of women, they've been dying in birth and dying from the infections. Now we live much longer. And actually, our lifetime in the menopause sometimes can be equal or even longer to our life in the fertile period. So I think we should enjoy it much more and do not be so negative and pessimistic about it. And I'm well placed to speak about it because I'm 52 years old and I hope I can enjoy my life much longer. And I'm not sad about my gray hair or about any changes in my body. Menopause, it is a natural part of our body change during the aging process. And we start to age from the very first day of our life. So it's nothing new about the menopause. Menopause, it's another teenager's period for women when we have these dramatic changes of the hormonal level. Just in the teenager's period, we have an increase of sex hormones in our body. And in the menopause period, we have a decrease of hormones in our body. So they've been high for some period of our life. Obviously, it has some side effects, psychological, emotional, but also purely physical. And the menopause, it is the day, the point which finalizes fertile period of the life, when you can be pregnant, when you can have a baby, and opens another period of the life, when you are open to the new experience. What is the menopause technically? Technically, it is 24 hours. Yes, we are speaking about the menopause, like about the period, but we do it only because we don't like to use long words. Because we should speak about post-menopause and not about the menopause itself. We have three periods. Perimenopause, it is a period when your hormonal levels start to change. After the menopause, it is the day when we celebrate the total absence of period in 12 months in a row. And after the next day, after this celebration, we have a long, long life in the post-menopause period. Perimenopause and menopause itself can be triggered externally. So it can be very natural, and its average time, for example, in the USA for women, it's 51 years, but it can be plus or minus 10 years in your age. In some European countries, it's a little bit later. In some countries, it's a little bit earlier, but it's all about end of 40s, start of 50s. Others can be triggered by the surgery, by some medical treatment, by some hormonal treatments. And it's literally the period when your ovaries stop to liberate and release eggs and synthesize female hormones, estrogens, and progesterone. And what is interesting, and I think what is very useful to keep in mind for women, then it is nothing new about your hormonal level. Some women think that they lose all estrogens in your body, and it would be awful, and we lose all estrogens. But in fact, biochemically, we are coming back to our teenager and pre-teenager period of our life. Because until the first period, which is called menarche, we have a low level of the estrogen. It started to increase gradually. After menarche, it's increased more dramatically. We are coming to the peak of our estrogen level in our early 20s. And we stay at this peak level of the estrogen until the early 30s. So it's about 10 years in our life. Starting from early 30s, the estrogen levels start to decrease slowly and gradually, coming to the relatively low level in the early 40s. And when it starts much more difficult to get pregnant. And after 45, this level of estrogen decrease faster and faster, coming to the level when you've been in your pre-teenagers era. And you will stay in this pre-teenager era until the end of your life. You will still get estrogen circulating in your body. Just it will be low level, like children have. So it is not, you will never be empty of estrogens, like you will never be empty of androgens. We will still have sex hormones circulating in our body because they are absolutely essential for our body life, for our body being able to function properly. When perimenopause, the preparation period for the menopause starts, we feel it in the last year before your period stop, definitely, but it starts much earlier. The perimenopause year starts 8-10 years before you will feel some changes in your period characteristics. Because when your estrogen levels start to decrease slowly and gradually, we will not feel it until the very last day before the dramatic loss of estrogens, before our coming back to this pre-teenagers level of the estrogens. So the first period when you will feel something about it, like change of the duration of your period, change of the characteristic of your period, like more or less, change of your emotional status, psychology, sleep, and even skin changes. It will happen only in the last couple of years before your period stop completely. It is really good because when you feel this change is starting, it is still a good time to prepare your skin and to prevent the dramatic skin changes in the menopause. Because if you do nothing about it, very probably you will lose a lot of collagen. So it will lead to the formation of wrinkles much faster than it happened before. And it can be unpleasant. So it's always better to be prepared. So at the time when you feel your periods start to change, it is a great time to start change your skincare routine, to think about some aesthetic treatments, and even to think about the change of your diet and the change of your lifestyle. In the post-menopause, when your period stopped completely, it is the period which will be very long. So you will live in the post-menopause until the end of your days. And here we can speak about more stable skincare routine, less intense. The best time for the intense skincare routine, it is last year before menopause started, and the first probably 3 or 5 years after your period stopped. After you can go for the gentle skincare routine without this kind of intense treatment. But in this frame, couple of years before and 5 years later, it is a great period for more intense approach to the skincare and to the skin treatments if you want it. Also, in this period, there can be some change of the health and change of the emotional status, psychological change, more or less related to the menopause. But it is a big question if our psychological, emotional changes, or even the health changes, they are related directly to the biochemical and hormonal changes in our body, or they are related to the social pressure as well. Because for so many years, we see menopause very negatively. So when women start to feel first hormonal changes in her body, most of the women, they're afraid of it. They're frightened. They are sad about it. And it's not surprising. Then your sleep is changing for the worst. Then you feel a little bit depressive. And even you feel more of changes about your health and you see them more negatively. Maybe they are not so much related to these hormonal changes. And apparently women who see their menopause more positively, they experience less of side effects and less of symptoms of menopause, or at least the symptoms can be less intense. And also the menopause age can be very different for every woman. It's very individual. But still, there are some triggers of the premature or early menopause. First and foremost, it is a surgery. So ovarectomy or hysterectomy, both of these kind of surgery interventions, they trigger the early menopause immediately after the surgery. They are performed mostly in the case of the cancer of ovary, cancer of womb. So they are absolutely unavoidable. It's life-saving treatments, but it provokes the menopause, unavoidably as well. Also, it can be the X-ray therapy of the ovary. It can be chemotherapy in the same case as in the cancer treatment, but also it can be some genetically predetermined condition, like insufficient activity of the ovaries in some women, can be some autoimmune illnesses. HIV infection, unfortunately, leads to the early menopause, but also can be some infections like measles or parotides. And it's one of the reasons why you should be vaccinated, not only in your childhood, but in your adult life. Because when you are on time with all your vaccination against child infections, it can be useful in your adult life as well. You are preventing the early menopause, amongst other problems. And another trigger of the menopause, which I really want people to know more about it is smoking. Smoking can shorten your fertile period of life up to 10 years. So if you are a smoker and if you want to avoid early menopause and early hormonal skin changes, it is a good reason to quit smoking. It's the best thing you can do to prevent collagen loss in your skin and to prevent the early formation of wrinkles. But when we are speaking about the early menopause or late onset menopause, we are speaking about some age, about some numbers, right? And even if it is very personal and very individual, still, when we are speaking about the menopause settling before 40 years, we call it early menopause. If the menopause starts from 40 until 45 years, it's still early, but it is not premature. Between 45 until 55 years old, it is average, absolutely typical menopause. And after 55 years, it is the late onset of menopause, which in some people, they see it as a good sign, and really you have more of estrogen circulating in your body, so probably your skin will look younger, but no one in the right mind, no gynecologist, no doctor will recommend you to prolong your fertile period and to make your menopause coming later artificially, because it can be unsafe for the body, because our ovaries, they are functioning and they are ready to function properly just in some period of time. And if they function too long, if the menopause coming too late, it can increase the risk of many conditions, and most dangerous of them, they are some kind of hormone-dependent cancer, and obviously we want to avoid it. But estrogens are very important for the skin health. And in these years of the peak of estrogen influence in our body, when you remember, from the early 20s until the early 30s, our skin looks perfect. There are years of the skin strength when we have the highest elasticity in our skin, when the wrinkles literally cannot develop because we have so much of collagen, so much of hyaluronic acid in our skin. And we have really the smallest activity of collagen eating and hyaluronic acid eating enzymes in our skin. Then whatever you do, you are wrinkle-free. But at the early 30s, when the hormone levels start to decrease gradually, our skin starts to change. Because estrogens, they are hormones controlling the synthesis of collagen in our skin, controlling the synthesis of elastin, controlling the synthesis of hyaluronic acid. Because our collagen-producing cells, fibroblasts in the dermis, they are controlled by our estrogens, mainly. And obviously, as our estrogens, they control our fibroblasts, so they control the skin elasticity, they control the skin hydration, but also they control the synthesis of lipids. They help us to produce more lipids, so to get the healthy skin barrier. They control the proliferation, differentiation, and whole cell life of skin in the deeper layer of the skin, in the dermis, and they control the skin cells in the superficial layer of skin, in the epidermis. So fibroblasts and keratinocytes, they are both controlled by estrogens. They are very much intervening in the cell's life of pigment cells and immune cells and fat cells, but also they are acting as antioxidants in our body, protecting us from the free radicals and including protection from the ultraviolet radiation. So in our young age, we are naturally better protected from any kind of external damage, including the air pollution. That's why you should be much more careful about the sun protection and much more careful about the skincare and skin protection when you become older, and especially when you approach the menopause. Also, estrogens are very important for the microcirculation. They are protecting the health and the strengthness of our capillaries, and they contradict androgens, male hormones in our body. So, as you can see, they are very universal hormones. And when the level of estrogen, and the most important estrogen for our skin, called 17-beta estradiol, when the level of this 17-beta estradiol, other estrogens, is decreasing in our body, we see a lot of changes. And first, obviously, we see the decrease of numbers of active follicles in our ovaries. So it slows down the release of eggs, and also it controls the synthesis of collagen. So we see this decrease of collagen synthesis. We see the reactivation of collagen-destroying enzymes. Same thing we see about the hyaluronic acid. We see the same thing about the elastin as well. But in the same time, our skin becomes less sensitive to estrogen. So on one hand, we have less of estrogen circulating in our body. On another hand, our skin reacts less to estrogen compared with the reaction in the young age. And both processes, they are summarizing the side effect of the menopause for the skin. If our receptors for hormones in the skin can stay active, we see menopausal changes as less prominent. And we see less of wrinkles formation. We see more of collagen in the skin. Our skin will stay more elastic. So, easily speaking, we see less of age-related changes in our skin. But if our estrogen sensitivity of our skin will change faster and faster, even if you have a high level of hormone circulating in your body, your skin will not change significantly. Why it is important to understand? Because it is an answer why hormonal replacement therapy is not always rejuvenate the skin. Because the hormonal replacement therapy, it is a therapy based on the increase of the level of circulating hormones in our body, right? We just add artificially some estrogens on the daily level as a medication. So we have more hormones which are circulating in our bloodstream. But if your skin became deaf, if estrogen receptors in your skin are not expressed, your skin will not react to this high level of hormones. And that's why we see a lot of research which I always start like very optimistic and positive. And let's try hormonal replacement therapy. Let's see how hydration level in our skin will increase. Let's see how we will have less of wrinkles. And it's not happened. Only about 20, maybe 25% of women, they're able to react to the higher level of hormones with a hormone replacement therapy by their skin without a specific treatment addressing hormone receptors on the skin, addressing skin sensitivity to the hormones. And that's what we are able to do in the skincare without using hormones. We can increase the sensitivity of your skin to the low level of hormones. And it smooths all menopausal changes, and it prevents this dramatic collagen loss in our body. I will not just stop on the explanation what kind of receptors we have in our skin, but by the way, alpha and beta, both of them, they're equally important for the skin. And also these receptors, they are responsible for the skin regeneration and for the wound healing. That's why now it's one of the direction of research in the pharmacology. Because if we'll find a way to efficiently increase the expression of hormonal receptors in the skin, we will find a way to heal wounds in the older population. And it can be the big problem. And also to get the active expression of receptors in the skin, the estrogen receptors in the skin, we need enough of energy. So we need our mitochondria to stay active. So it's a very complex process, which we think about creating the menopause skincare solution. Unfortunately, we cannot just use some kind of collagen booster and say, okay, it's done. Your skin will boost the collagen synthesis and you will be good. You will be not, because we need to think about many factors in the same time. What happens with the skin in the menopause if we do absolutely nothing? So first, your skin will become less sensitive to hormones because hormones receptors will be less expressed in your skin. In the same time, you have less of estrogen influence in your skin because less of estrogens are circulating in your body. Your ovary produces less of them. And it leads to the skin dryness in the first place. It's what we feel probably as the very first symptom. Also, the skin became more sensitive, mostly because of the lack of expression of estrogen receptors in the skin. Skin became more prone to the redness and sometimes even to the inflammation. So we can see so-called menopausal acne. We see the resorption of fat deposit. So face becomes slimmer, and it's not only the change of the face features, but it is also about the decrease of the population of stem cells, because stem cells, they are located in fat deposits. When you have less of facial fat, especially in the older age, you have less of stem cells. We cannot produce and differentiate the new collagen producing cells, fibroblasts, because to get new fibroblasts, you need this fat level layer. You need stem cells in your fat. So it also plays a role in the decrease of the collagen level and decrease and loss of the skin elasticity. And in the worst scenario, it is possible to lose up to 30% of collagen in the first 5 years since the perimenopause start to be symptomatic and active. Until the 5 years after this, it will be in the third, probably fourth years of the post-menopause. And obviously, the loss of 30% of your skin structure, it can be dramatic. It can lead to the really dramatic, significant skin sagging. The loss of the jawline, the loss of the skin elasticity, formation of folds and lines and wrinkles, and literally everything. But the good news is that we can prevent it. And we can prevent it in so many ways because we can interact with cells, we can interact with receptors, we can interact with the microbiome, which can be very important, and not only the microbiome of the skin, but the microbiome of our digestive system as well, because it can be very important for the estrogen level in your body. So we have a lot of different ways to interact with the skin, recreating this pre-menopause skin condition, slowing down the loss of collagen, because it will be our main focus. The collagen, that's what we want to keep during the perimenopause and early post-menopause year. After everything will stabilize, the collagen destroying enzymes will be less active, but these first 5, maybe 10 years will be the most important. And another thing to address during these early menopause years, that's the aging of skin cells themselves. That's a phenomenon called senescence, when skin cells start to produce less of collagen, elastin, and hyaluronic acid, but producing more of enzymes destroying collagen, elastin, and hyaluronic acid. And these cells can spread this phenotype, become contagious for the environment, spreading this activity to another healthy and relatively young cells. So that's another direction in the modern skincare. Prevention of this cells senescence, prevention of this zombification of skin cells. And now we have enough of ingredients to work on it. Also, in the menopausal skincare, we address the skin barrier because the restoration of the skin comfort, the restoration of the skin barrier function, and the diversity and health of the microbiome, it's one of our main focus. Obviously, it happens because of the decrease of the estrogen levels, but it doesn't mean then we cannot do anything about it. That's why in the menopause, it's so important to use lipid-based moisturizers. So when you approach the menopause, it is a good time to change your favorite lightweight moisturizer for something more nutritious. I will not say more heavy, let's say more rich, containing more of organic oils and maybe skin-identical lipids like squalane, ceramides will be very useful during these menopausal years. And another good thing which you can do for your skin barrier, it is the activation of the self-renewal. So activation of this basal membrane in the epidermis, which we do with the regular exfoliation. And there are a lot of ingredients which are able to speed up the skin renewal. We are using many of them, but in the menopausal years, retinol comes with a lot of side effects because in the menopause, we are already prone to the skin redness. We're already prone for the skin sensitivity. Skin is already less protected from the ultraviolet. And using the retinol, you increase all these risks, speeding up the skin renewal and boosting the collagen synthesis. But fortunately, now we have a lot of alternative to retinols. So we can get this retinol effects without side effects using some alternative molecules. Most of them, they are plant-derived or biotechnological, so they are very safe. And exfoliation, it's very good for the menopausal skin, also because the menopausal skin is trying to protect itself as much as it can, producing more of protein called keratin, creating this strong, rough texture of the skin. And I believe that many of us, they noticed it in the older skin, when the skin become more rough and dry, and the skin color became a little bit dull and not so bright and vivid. And it's linked to this keratin, because keratin, it's a heavy protein living on the skin. So the regular exfoliation in the menopausal period, it's one of the must-have processes. That's one of the must-have things what you can do for your skin. So remember, you should switch to the richer moisturizer and to include the exfoliation in your weekly skincare routine if you are not visiting your skin practitioners, beauticians, or aesthetic practitioners every week. What happens with our skin during the menopause? It's defined by 5 big factors. First, hormones. So estrogen level is decreased. It's very important for our skin. And skin sensitivity to hormones is decreased as well, and what we will address in our skincare. Another factor, there are changes of the microbiome in your digestive system and in your skin. Third factor, it is inflammation and glycation level. So it's sugar links in the skin creating this chaotic collagen structure, because sugar in your skin can be transformed to this biological glue, damaging the collagen structure and damaging the skin elasticity. Fourth factor, it is the stress and level of stress hormones. And finally, lifestyle, including your exposure to the ultraviolet. I know it sounds awful. 5 enemies all around us: hormones, skin reaction to hormones, stress hormones, microbiome, inflammation, glycation, sugar, what else? And ultraviolet, air pollution, everything. But in the same time, it is a good thing, because when we understand what can be damaging, we can create the skincare, we can change our lifestyle to get better protection. Because if you know that the higher stress level, it can be dangerous for your skin, it can be dangerous for your body, you can manage your stress better, thinking about it and changing your lifestyle, changing your diet. If you know that ultraviolet is dangerous for your skin, and I hope you know it, but in the older age, it became 2 or 3 times more dangerous for your skin than in your young age, you understand better why you need 50+ sunscreen and why you need to be very careful when you are going on holidays. So what can we do to create the best skin protection, starting in the first years when you feel first changes of your period, and which we will follow the skincare regimen during the lifetime later. So first thing what we can do for our skin is to increase and maintain active sensitivity of our skin to the rest of hormones circulating in our bloodstream. It is possible to do even with plant-derived ingredients. Another process which we address in the skincare, it is this senescence of our skin cells. So we are using different ingredients and technology, preventing this transformation of our skin cells and preventing their zombification. Another direction, it is a constant daily detoxification of our skin and deep skin structures, using ingredients, using skincare, maintaining the healthy microcirculation in our skin, and preventing puffiness, helping us to eliminate excessive water and eliminate toxins from our skin. Also, we control the skin sensitivity, using calming ingredients, using calming product addressing the sensitive and reddening skin, because we know that in the menopause, all of us, we are prone to the skin redness, we are prone to the skin sensitivity. So it is not a good time to use aggressive skincare. Young skin react to aggressive skincare much better than older skin. When you start to experience change in your period, be gentle to your skin, be more friendly to it. And we are thinking about skin barrier. We are restoring the skin barrier, and during all our life, we will use skincare helping to repair skin barrier, helping to repair our microbiome, and helping to hold as much water as we can in our superficial skin layers. And the amount of the water will very much define how will your skin look. So amount of the water in your skin, amount of the lipids on your skin, amount of proteins on your skin, and activity of your skin cells in the deep and superficial layers of the skin. So what can we use? Fortunately, we have a lot of active ingredients helping to prevent this collagen loss during the menopause and preventing the so-called menopausal skin changes. They are not mandatory for the skin. We can slow down them, and we can make them smooth and much less visible. So first category of ingredients which we are using in menopausal skincare, they are so-called, scientifically, selective estrogen receptors modulator, or SERM. And very probably your gynecologist already been speaking with you about SERM therapy, because now it is a new pharmaceutical direction. And it can be used not only for the skin, but for the body as well, with different kind of phytoestrogen and molecules able to interact with estrogen receptors in the skin and in the body, activating their expression. These ingredients, they can be based on the phytoestrogens, and well-known phytoestrogens, they are soja extracts, also red clover, used traditionally for centuries to prevent menopausal changes, and even the red clover is used in the veterinary, and it's used now in the skincare as well. Also, we are using the derivative of soya extract derived from the soja beans and genistein, used in the gynecology right now for the menopausal management. And we are using the biofermented resveratrol, derived from the red grape extract, exactly the same red grape which is used for wine production. And this resveratrol is biofermented by winemaking bacteria, and it transforms this resveratrol to the selective estrogen modulator. It boosts collagen synthesis, the useful collagen of the first type, and in the same time, it increases and maintains the activity of hormones receptors in the skin. So it's ideal menopausal skincare treatment. And very recently was found that tranexamic acid, which we use for skin brightening and lightening solution, also it is a selective estrogen receptor modulators. So if you have brightening skincare based on the tranexamic acid, congratulations. It is not only brightening, it is rejuvenating and preventing all menopausal changes in your skin. Also, it's epidermal growth factor, or oligopeptide 1, which is also used in many of anti-age skincare solutions. It's also estrogen receptor modulator, and the extract of wild yams, because it contains the precursor of estrogen, DHEA, which was used in skincare previously, but now, as I can see, that almost no one is using DHEA in the skincare solutions because it has some side effects. So you see, we have the whole range of the pro-estrogen ingredients. I like to call them hormone replacement therapy for the skin. So when you have this metabiotic resveratrol, or soja, or tranexamic acid, or EGF, it's your HRT solution and the right time to start to use it when you feel first change of periods. Another direction in the senescence, to preventing the zombification of skin cells, we are using now very innovative ingredients, but they're still derived from plants, so they're very natural. And some of them, they're derived from such unusual for skincare plants like onion, for example, quercetin. But quercetin take a part in the red grape, so when you have a red grape extract in your skincare, it is also good to prevent age-related and menopausal-related changes. Broccoli contains quercetin, many of citruses contains quercetin, and salt cherry is full of quercetin. Also, it can be fisetin from apples, from the same onion, strawberry, red grape, piperlongumine from peppers, curcumin, as you can guess, from curcuma, silymarin from the yeast, but also marine thistle, same red grape, pineapple, and many of berries. And the couple of ingredients which we been using previously without knowing how good they are. That's resveratrol, that's caffeine from the coffee extract or tea extract or even mate extract, and it is the niacinamide, vitamin B3. All of them, they prevent the zombification of the cells, and they can be used as a collagen boosters. To energize our skin cells, once again, niacinamide, but also the same resveratrol, the same epidermal growth factors, oligopeptide 1, which is energizing for the skin, and almost all plant stem cells, which we are using in the skincare. Also, peptides can be energizing, and peptides can be used as a very efficient collagen boosters, alongside with different collagen boosters like retinol, but you remember retinol has some side effects, so I prefer to use peptides instead of retinol, because peptide can help not only boost the collagen synthesis, but also restore the whole skin structure without sensitizing the skin and without increasing the risk of the ultraviolet damage or skin pigmentation. And obviously, prebiotics and probiotics. Why it is so important? Because we have some menopausal changes in the microbiome, and it would lead to the skin higher sensitivity, the decreased natural protection against the ultraviolet, decreased antioxidant protection in the skin, and decreased collagen synthesis. So our microbiome in the menopausal years, it became pro-inflammatory, pro-glycation, and pro-aging. If you are using the right prebiotics and probiotics, promoting the growth of useful microbiome on your skin, you delegate about 30% of all anti-aging activity to your microbiome. And your microbiome can interact directly with your skin cells, boosting the synthesis of all structural elements, boosting the synthesis of lipids, restoring the healthy skin barrier. So it is very important. And for me, now the anti-aging skincare is absolutely impossible without using prebiotics and probiotics. And obviously, big part of the menopausal skincare, they are antioxidants. Because antioxidants, they are crucial to maintain our skin activity on the useful level, to maintain our collagen synthesis as well. Amongst antioxidants, we see the well-known niacinamide, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin D is used as an antioxidant as well, green tea, glutathione, astaxanthin, and rosemary extract, actually my very favorite antioxidant, because it's probably one of the most powerful amongst all antioxidants used in the skincare solutions, especially in the menopausal age, alongside with resveratrol and niacinamide. And we are detoxifying our skin as much as we can, using capillary strengthening ingredients, for example, derived from the horse chestnut, centella asiatica, green tea, red grape, and many others. So it creates kind of complicated formulation for the menopausal skincare. And that's why when you read the label of your moisturizer, which will be good for your skin during the menopause, it will be longer than the moisturizer for the young skin. Because for young skin, we are using a few water-holding ingredients, few prebiotics and probiotics, and it is good because it's still strong. But in the menopausal skincare solution, we should use at least 4 or 5 categories of ingredients working in the synergy to address all these hormone-related issues, from the superficial skin layers to the deeper skin layers, thinking about literally everything at the same time. That's why it's so important to get the synergy of ingredients. And I love the skincare solutions for menopausal skin based on peptides, but enriched with niacinamide, enriched with caffeine, resveratrol, antioxidant ingredients, detoxifying ingredients, and prebiotics and probiotics. So it can be more complicated. And as you can guess, it will be more expensive because menopausal skincare, it's a highly scientific skincare. It's the top of the science skincare if you want something really efficient. So what we recommend to use for your skin and how to change your life in this menopausal period to achieve the best skin elasticity and to prevent menopausal changes. First of all, regular physical activity, mindfulness practice, and as much of social support and social communication as you can get, because it's everything activating your oxytocin level in the body, which is love hormones, and also the estrogen hormones will be good for your skin. For the diet, we recommend the diet maintaining and supporting so-called estrobolome in your skin, because surprise, prebiotics and probiotics from your digestive system can support and increase the estrogen synthesis and can maintain the estrogen level circulating in your bloodstream. So it would be all healthy thing with a lot of vegetables and fruits and fresh fish and different kind of seafood, and also soja-based food as much as you can. I think you should eat something derived from soja, like soja-based yogurt or tofu cheese every day when you feel your menopause is starting. And what you should use in your skincare, it should be gentle, microbiome-friendly cleanser with prebiotics and probiotics. Second, it would be antioxidant moisturizing water-based serum or gel to moisturize your skin. You don't need toners reducing pores. You need a real rich moisturizing active serum. You should have the active serum or concentrate containing at least one of selective estrogen receptor modulators like EGF, peptides, stem cells, resveratrol, tranexamic acid. That can be 2 or 3 of them, combined with a collagen booster like remodeling peptide and detoxifying ingredient, antioxidant capillary strengthening ingredients. And you can have the nice rich moisturizer and obviously the good sunscreen. And if you're experiencing lack of sleep, you should have a circadian skincare solution as your night moisturizer as well. So actually it's not so complicated. It can be 4 or 5 skincare products in your daily use. And believe me, your skin will be very grateful because you understand what your skin needs. And you provide exactly what can support your skin best during this period of your life. Thank you for joining us today on the Meder Beauty podcast. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an expert skincare tip. Have a question or topic you'd like for me to cover? Send me a message at podcast@mederbeauty.com and let's keep the conversation going. Also, you can visit mederbeauty.com and discover Meder Skincare, which I created. And if you enjoyed the show, I'd love if you left a review. It helps others find the podcast and keeps us growing. Until next time, stay healthy, stay glowing, and take care of your skin.